All right, swiftly moving forward to our panel discussion where marketing gurus will discuss the topic, how marketing ops pros are shaping the future of the MarTech landscape. Marketing operation professionals play a critical role in ensuring that their organization's marketing stack is scalable, reliable, and easy to use. Learn how they are proving to be a necessary link between the needs of marketing teams and the technologies that enable organizations to succeed in this digital age. On that note, let's give a huge round of applause to our panelists, Brianna Miller, Director of Protenus, Prash Shenoy, VP of Marrina Decisions, and John Turnham, Founder and CTO of Wallet Incorporated. Let's welcome them to the stage.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We're really excited. We've been talking to ourselves, and we are all very passionate about this topic. So first, we're going to just do a quick introductions. My name is Brianna Miller. I am the Director of Digital Marketing and Demand Generation at Protenus, which is a healthcare software company. I am also an adjunct professor at the University of Missouri-St. Louis, where I teach marketing, and am just very, very obsessed with marketing overall.
Thanks, Brianna. I'm Prash Shenoy, VP of Marketing at Marrina Decisions, a global consulting company supporting the marketing ops for Fortune 100 companies, B2B companies in technology, healthcare, security, and other industry segment. And we support all the marketing functions in those companies for last over maybe around 10 plus years. And personally, like Brianna said, I'm also very passionate about marketing and technology. Sometimes I refer myself as accidental marketeer because my background from a master's in computer science and engineering and now leading the MarTech operations side of the equation for the marketing teams. And for the last 2 decades, I've been supporting and helping CMOs, executive leadership team in sales and marketing about the funnel strategy, ABM, that's account-based marketing, attribution, and how to make sure that these teams are putting their budget into the right programs and getting the right ROI.
Nice. My name is John Turnham. I am the founder and CTO of Wallet Inc. My background is building software systems for banks and casinos. So I'm hoping to bring some insights into how those big companies handle customer retention and their loyalty programs and some of the data that they bring to those programs and share some of those tricks and tips and elaborate on some of those details.
Yep. So I think the first question would be is like, what is marketing ops, right? Because it's one of the most mystified term. Like a lot of time, each company has their own terminology of what ops means. So maybe Brianna, would you like to start with marketing ops
Yes.
for you, and then we'll take
Definitely.
turns from our side.
So I am very much in the B2B space. So for my company, marketing ops is leveraging that different technologies and our brand strategy to create impact on our company. So the marketing ops falls primarily under me, and that would be managing what technologies we use, what data we are leveraging, defining that data so that we're able to determine ROI and how that data moves through our different systems, and at the same time, making that align with our marketing strategy and then, of course, our business strategy even more. And then also, I think marketing ops is also about kind of being the, I heard this quote from Gartner was the COO to the CMO. Yeah. So we are doing the operational side. So we are interacting with our internal and our external stakeholders and kind of making sure that everything is running smoothly and well.
Nice. Yeah, so marketing ops to me is really all, I would say 70% customer retention in my world, and then 30% customer acquisition. And so to elaborate on that, when I think about marketing ops, I'm thinking about point of sale integrations and getting offers into consumers' hands that make sense, bring them in, and be able to track some of those transactions. And so it's different, I think, from an engineering side, just thinking through some of those elements. Also e-commerce integrations, messaging, and so it's really the execution of all of these different elements that come to mind for me when I'm thinking about marketing ops.
Yeah, excellent. Like Brianna, also I come from a B2B universe, and in B2B side, the marketing operations almost like supports the entire marketing infrastructure, including setup of the MarTech stack, setting up the process, workflows, taking care of day-to-day activities needed for the marketing team, whether it could be setting up a landing page and a form, setting up webinars, creating complex multi-touch nurture campaigns, creating the MQLs, like tagging them, how the system, the data flows through the system, and the sales handoff, and where the revenue is recognized. All these functionalities which is needed by both the field marketers, demand gen team, and the entire marketing team is supported by marketing ops. And one of the analogy always I put together is like, if you consider marketing team as a whole, as a human body, then marketing ops would comprise maybe like entire skeletal system, which is supporting all the functionality, holding the body together. The circulatory system, like the whole blood flow, right? Like taking the nourishment from one end to another end. The heart, which pumps the nutrients to every cell of the body, right? It's every department needs marketing ops. And also, I feel that the left side of the brain, the analytical brain, right? That's what marketing ops also does. It is like bringing out that analytical insights, the data, how to manage it, right? It's almost like marketing ops it performs like a critical system for the body, but you cannot see it, right? All of these are inside. So similarly, like marketing ops always behind the scene, making sure the marketing team members shine, and they're able to bring out the right ROI and business insights to the rest of the company.
Yeah, I definitely agree with, I like your analogy a lot there. We are kind of that behind the scenes, making sure that everything is working. And I mean, definitely in my role, it is that, we create our marketing strategy at the end of, for this year, it's created for next year. And then the marketing ops is coming in saying, what are those processes we need? What are the tools that we need to be able to achieve the strategy that we want for the next year? And then defining what success is going to look like. What are those metrics that are, and those KPIs that are going to be defined as a successful marketing strategy, and then communicating those to the different stakeholders as well.
I think so we could continue the marketing ops. I'm kind of, I'm interested in talking a little bit about some of the tracking tools that you guys are using. And, we talked a little bit about UTM parameters and how to track that all the way through. I'm interested if you could elaborate a little bit on that, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, marketing ops is responsible for all the tools and processes. Also, like from the top of the funnel, if you're thinking as from a demand gen perspective, top of the funnel where the marketing team acquires the lead, and you want to know where the lead came from, which channel, which sources, right? And I think that's one place where marketing ops definitely plays an important role in terms of how do we tag them? What are the, like especially like if you're looking in top of the funnel, UTM parameters, there are multiple UTM parameters, which you can leverage to see which channel or source they came from, which keyword people were searching to reach your website or the product, right?
We're talking in the context of Google Analytics, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
And also like which campaign it came from, if you're running multiple ad campaigns, or maybe it's your own in-house campaigns, right? So those campaigns and all can be embedded into the UTM parameters, which is not visible to most of the users, but definitely you can track them, you can capture them at the conversion point, which is the form fill, and at the back end, you set up the marketing automation platform or CRM to capture those details so that you can see when a lead comes in or a person is interested in your product or services, because usually in today's world, it's not like one place they come from. It's multiple channels, multiple places they engage. And these UTM parameters and other tags can definitely help to really stitch that data about the multi-touch attribution, right? It's always like there's no one single source today because we have become such a complex, interconnected world. So which means that the person might engage the company through maybe on their ads, maybe some blog post, maybe something else, different place where it leads them back to that page, right? Or it could be a referral. So we want to capture all the stuff, which gives that marketing team and also sales team, like which one is working, where the interests are, right? Is especially
critical.
for their audience.
But I would say definitely that the attribution model is typically going to fall under marketing ops. So whether that be your first touch or your last touch attribution that you are associating things with, but to determine that ROI is the big one. So whether you are using UTM parameters or getting your leads from a trade show or an event, so an offline source, that would definitely fall under the marketing ops. In regards to some like the technologies that you mentioned that we're using, so my company uses definitely a collaboration of different technologies, like we all do. There's so many choices out there, but primarily HubSpot. So we use that for our email, our marketing automation, our chats, our document management, website, social, all that fun stuff. But also Salesforce for our main CRM. We use Rollworks, which is an account-based marketing tool, which we used for not just account-based marketing, but intent data. And then my newest fun tool is Vidyard, which is a great video marketing platform that also our sales teams leverage to get personalized messages out to really drive those leads down the funnel. So that's my new favorite tool.
No, I think there's so many technologies. Like one of my favorite is Scott Brinker's technology tools roadmap. I think in 2011 when he started, it was around like 150 tools were available for marketing. And in 2020, it was almost like 8,000. It's almost like 5,000% increase over just 10 years. A phenomenal explosion of the tools and technologies available for marketing team. And that's where I think the marketing ops comes into play. It's like figuring out which tool is appropriate, right? I have worn the hat of being the ops lead in leading the operation, marketing ops and sales ops in the company, managing almost 5 billion pipeline, and now for the last 11 years, working as a consultant and being a strategic partner to my clients. And always I say there's no one size fits all. Right? You could be like, we need to look at what is the business pain points, what is the processes they're looking for, where they want to be in 5 years, right? And based on that, what is the existing technology stack they already have, right? If I go into any one of the companies today in the marketing side, at least 15 technology tools are available, right? And at that time, it's like, if they want to bring in one more, we want to look at it, it's like, how does it support the existing one or replace certain one? And if you are replacing it, how do we transition that data, the insights which is existing in those tools? Because each tool has its own purpose. And now if you are bringing in, introducing another tool, we need to make sure that the old insights and data is not lost. At the same time, the new tool can really give them the better ROI which they're looking for.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing when we're looking at tools. I had my wish list of tools this year that our CMO asked that I was interested in, but it was really more about what is that one that's going to make the biggest impact for the cost that I would be able to measure an ROI versus just, maybe measuring brand awareness. It is, am I going to be able to translate a video view into a lead and pipeline?
Some of the differences between big businesses and small businesses that I've seen from data tracking and analysis, it really comes down to, again, the bottom of the funnel activity. When I'm looking at the next 10 years of competition in the market, I'm looking at the big businesses that are executing very, very well on that bottom of the funnel section. So the customer retention aspect, they're bringing in customers over and over and over and over. And how they do that is through really tracking everything. Of course, you all know that. But the way recently is through specific individual barcodes for every single offer or discount or promotion that's customized to the individual. So when they come in and redeem it, whether it's free play at the casino or it's a hotel offer, or whether it's something like the spa or the pool or the whatever, there's a lot of data that's attached to that offer and to that barcode. For small businesses, they tend to just use a coupon code that is very generic. It goes out to everybody. Everybody gets the exact same coupon code. It might be a seasonal special for 10% off or 20% off. And then at the end of their promotion, they just tally how many redemptions they received. And there's a huge difference between how those two businesses are able to operate based on the data that's accumulated. And so in my company is essentially built a catalog of different types of redeemable items and separated something that's generic like a coupon into one section where you have vouchers that are separately defined, gift cards are separately defined, gift certificates, and so on. So there's a whole catalog of different tools that apply to different consumers for different needs and different purposes. So it's really getting at the lower level details for every consumer so you can create more engaging offers every time.
That's excellent. I think you touched upon the engagement side of it, because today the customer or the prospect is engaging in multiple ways in multiple places at multiple times, right?
Yep.
The biggest challenge for marketing team right now is how do we be in front of our prospect as well as our customers, right? At the right time with the right message, right? And that's where when you're talking about having the offers, different offers, right? Maybe it could have been in different tools and processes. Now, how does marketing team can bring all that stuff together and stitch that data at the back end so that we have a holistic view of that person, right? Not just like an email ID, right? Really looking at that email ID as a person and where they're connecting with us, right? Because now I think marketing has moved from maybe a decade back, it was like spray and pray kind of a thing,
Yes.
right? You just do it and hope that something sticks to it, like throwing spaghetti on the wall, right, and see what sticks. Now there is technology available, there are tools available, there are processes, we can configure processes to stitch all this stuff together and really have an assumption, okay, if we follow these processes, we can really get the holistic view of the person, right? And always it's like I always feel that though with all this technology, tools and stuff, marketing is still an art along with the science, right?
Yep.
There's a strong science behind it now, but there's definitely still the art is not missed, right? That's where I feel that having that emotional touch of engaging people at different levels and knowing them where they really are at this point of time, right? Especially like the tools like geolocation and all the stuff which is possible, we can track and really see where they're engaging. And the teams have the ability to push the notification as well as offers at the right time.
That's an interesting point, actually, because some of the bigger companies use geolocation, not just when the consumer's close, but when they're far away. So if they're further away, they will increase the offer to encourage them to make the trip in. So it's interesting, working with that lower level data of trying to figure out which offers are really the best, and measuring what works, seeing what doesn't work, and just constantly refining and improving the process.
I like what you said, especially about emotional, tying that into our marketing strategies, because I think we have all of these great tools, and there's always the next best thing that's going to move the needle and increase your pipeline and close business. But it's tying that emotional part and that art and the strategy side. Like, you have to have that in order to use these tools properly and get the real ROI out of them. It can't just be like, oh, it's a new exciting tool and I'm going to implement it and it's going to change the game. It really is having still that using our creative sides that we have as marketers to be, I think, really great marketing ops pros.
Yeah. I think that leads to one more question, right? I think we have been talking about the impact of like how marketing ops works and what marketing ops supports. But maybe like Brianna, maybe you can touch upon the impacts of marketing ops within your marketing team, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe we can look at how does it work in in your world, right?
Sure.
And then again, I'm from a B2B universe, so maybe I can touch upon some of my learnings with multiple clients I've been working with.
Perfect, yeah. So with my organization, marketing ops has really, I feel like it's transforming. It is no longer siloed, as I truly believe marketing should not be siloed into its own department. But marketing ops is bridging those gaps with the sales team and the customer experience or customer success team. And that's really the big impact. So no longer is marketing separate from pipeline. Like we are measured on pipeline similar to sales, measured on the MQLs that we are getting, and how things are. The big thing I would say is how things are defined. Marketing is actually leading that a lot in my organization. What is a lead? What is an MQL? A SQL, a sales qualified lead. When does an opportunity? When and should an opportunity be created? And how it should be tracked and the different things that happen at each stage. And then also how are we onboarding customers? What is their experience? And marketing ops is really just kind of, I don't want to say taking over, but leading that and making sure that our brand strategists and product marketing specialists are in the right places and talking to the right people so that our top of funnel strategies are being seen all the way through the funnel. We're not just doing leads anymore. We are all the way through the middle, the bottom, and then after they become a customer. So big impact across the board, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So some of the recent evolutions in the past few years is consumers are much more comfortable using digital wallets, and that structure is more familiar. So our company consolidates all of those vouchers and coupons and discounts of different kind into a particular view, a digital wallet interface for consumers to quickly access every one of those offers and be able to use it throughout a resort or online or wherever. And so those are some of the more recent developments. Just, 5-6 years ago, a lot of these bigger companies would send out, like I'm going to continue to use casinos as an example, but they would send out a paper booklet that would have a $5 offer at the buffet or a $10 offer off the hotel room, and that's really changed into a digital format, and this is how just the processes evolve and continue to get better, and tracking increases because now you not only get redemption data, but you get view data, so you can see when somebody saw an offer but didn't redeem it. Maybe they looked at it twice. That's all useful information to help you tune your offers. Maybe they go up a few dollars so that they're more engaging and you get better redemption rates.
Yeah, I think for me, like my experience has been a lot more into B2B companies, like especially Fortune 100 companies. A lot of big enterprise clients I've been working with in the last 10 years. And marketing ops has really, like Brianna said, has expanded or has been leading the efforts to bridge the gap between multiple functionalities within the company, right? Maybe a decade back, people would have said, hey, marketing is from Venus, sales is from Mars, right? And maybe IT is from Jupiter, but, right? So I think there was no one common thread which could bring all these people together, right?
Yeah.
I feel that in the last decade, marketing ops has really taken that leadership role within the company to build that bridge between the marketing team and the sales team and IT component of it, right? Because marketing ops consists of project managers, data analysts, marketing tool experts, right? As well as process and strategists who understand the data, the technology, right? The processes, and also like how do we stitch all this together to achieve that business goal together, right? It's not just supporting the marketing side of it, but also supporting the sales side of it. Because like Brianna was saying, it's like creating from MQL to SAL to right SQL opportunities. When the marketing is passing the prospect back as an MQL to the sales team, how much more insight and intelligence we can provide to the sales? Like what all offers did they touch? Where all, like did they attend certain webinar? Did they attend certain trade shows?
Right.
Did they download certain white paper? Or right? All the stuff can be packaged together, tagged together to that person and sent back to the sales so that when sales is picking up the phone and calling, they exactly know what person has done, right? So that they can have a meaningful conversation. In that way, like ops is almost becoming like a nerve center, or maybe
Certainly.
a command center,
Yes.
right? Building the bridge between all these three departments.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think that's what I see in all these companies I work with and support. There is like multiple places, right? One is like alignment, like what we are talking about, between these different departments. The marketing ops is impacting there. The second is accountability, right? Accountability to the ROI, the accountability to the data, the process, right? And the technology, obviously, like it falls under the ops team, entire marketing ops, the MarTech stack, implementation of it, whether to go for a new one, do some research and come back and provide insights to the leadership team, which one is the next one to go. Like you were talking about, hey, my next dream too, right?
Yes.
I want this one. Like to make that decision, ops is the one who can go back, make the research, figure out, does it fit into our tech stack today, right? So yeah, it's like multiple places ops is making an impact, right from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, entire lead life cycle or the prospect life cycle. And today's marketing world is changing. Not only marketing now is responsible for the prospect to making them into a customer, but also like once a person becomes a customer, how do we take care of them, right? How do we do onboarding, better onboarding, right? Have a process to it, upgrade, cross-sell, right? All this functionality which would have been in customer success marketing is also supporting them because it's a digital interactions today. We are in a digitally connected world, and marketing has that ability to connect with those people when they were prospects, right?
Yes.
The same thing we can do at the customer life cycle side of it. So which means that at every point of the funnel, from being a prospect to a customer and then engaged customer and to be a loyal customer and to be a referral customer, right?
Yep.
So that's where the marketing ops can support the marketing team, the sales team, the customer success, and tapping into the every stages of the person or the customer and providing that insight. So I think it's a big impact across multiple, I think,
Certainly.
departments.
I agree.
So it's almost becoming like it's marketing ops is unseen or unsung hero within the company,
Yes.
right?
It also speaks
sure.
to how big marketing ops really is, because you two are both, phenomenal B2B marketing, experts, and I'm in the B2C space, and our worlds are different. They're similar in a lot of ways, but the things that we're paying attention to certainly have some similarities. But again, marketing ops is just a big animal that covers so many different things. So yeah, that's a great point.
No, I mean, I definitely agree. And it's, I think just listening to what you were saying, and not even just like the technologies and sharing that kind of insight on where they are, but also I think marketing ops is really good at kind of bridging that gap in the messaging across so that the experience is the same from, or making sure that the experience is the same from when they visit your website to what the voices on your social posts and your emails to how the sales team is reaching out and how those interactions are to the customer experience as well, so that everything is kind of the same.
Yeah. Do you want to touch upon a little bit about ABM? I think.
Oh,
you guys,
yes,
yeah,
thank
right?
you for reminding me. I think a really great, I mentioned earlier a tool we use called RollWorks. It's an ABM tool, an account-based marketing tool. And there's other ones out there, but we are working a lot with our customer success or customer experience team to give them information on what our customers might be doing. So they have the ability to look at search intent data. So we can add in our companies, or our current customers' companies, and then if anyone out there at that company is starting to look for our product type in search results and looking at types of content similar to our product online, we are notified. Our marketing team is notified, and we bring in the customer success team to say, hey, they're looking for our product online. This may be a indication that they are not happy. So this may be a time for us to work together to hit them with some good content and ads, but also for us to get to that one-on-one level and find out what's going on. So we do the same type of thing on the prospecting side for our sales team, but that tool can be used also to keep your customers happy and keep that customer experience happy.
That's great.
Awesome. So John, anything from B2C side of it?
Some of that comes, what comes to mind for me when I think about account-based marketing is something that we've been doing with our own tool, actually. We use our own feature set to do our own marketing on the B2B side. So even though it's a B2C product, we still need to do B2B marketing. And so there is some overlap between the two. And so the way that we do some account-based marketing is we, especially for bigger companies, we'll go through the effort of actually building out their profile for them. And so our customer success team actually comes forward to accomplish that as kind of a preparation step. And then we distribute to them, and we say, this is what your customers will see, this is how it works, it's filled with data, it works. And then because it's our own platform, we're able to see who accesses the platform, who uses it. So we're actually really focused on the account, and we're able to see how engaged they are in it because the platform provides that engaging, that low-level data, again, for engagement.
That's amazing, like what all tools can do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we almost like going over each, like in our own space, how the marketing ops team, like doing, having an impact across the entire company, right? Not just marketing. So one more thing is like keeping up with the time is like maybe we can also look into like what each one of us think is the future for marketing ops, right? Where the marketing ops can be moving towards in next decade, because we know like we transformed through a tough situation about with the pandemic and stuff, which totally changed the marketing landscape, how we do things, right? For certain time, the field marketing, physical interaction was already almost like was nil. Everything was moved into, like everything moved into the digital side of the thing, right? And now we are back again. So where do we see the transformation on the customer side of it, B2C side of it? And Brianna, maybe from your end, is like, what are you thinking as heading the marketing ops and demand gen side of the thing? Where do you see ops leading in next 5 years?
Yeah, I can kick that off. I definitely think it's going to become more integral and important than ever. I think it's going to grow in its ability to integrate the different other departments. So I think it's going to become more of, I don't want to call it a revenue ops role because that is a very different thing, but it kind of, marketing and sales and customer experience, I think, are going to become more integral. So the marketing operations role is going to continue to grow in how we are pulling that information from both sides. And then as well, I think that the marketing ops role is going to be more important in defining the processes. So specifically for how we are going to build pipeline, I know definitely at my company, we are at marketing supposed to be showing like how we are going to get our different pipeline, where we are getting our different leads, and then making sure that it's very clear across the board how everything is defined. We were originally a startup, and we have been definitely becoming a more advanced startup in regards to coming in and having those clear definitions and making sure that everybody is on the same page. That's the biggest thing I see in the next couple of years for us to be successful, is that we're all on the same page. We know what tools we're using, and we know how to define if those tools are successful and our processes are successful.
Awesome.
Makes sense.
John, what
That's
about on the B2B? B2C side?
When I think about the future, I'm thinking through the lens of what can we build? How can we enhance our platform to be better? And there's several features that come to mind, and they provide value in different ways. So one of them, for example, we call advertisement credits, and allows business to put a barcode on advertisements. And so when consumers walk up to an advertisement, maybe it's in print or maybe it's on TV, anytime they engage with the QR code, we're actually generating a new redeemable item on the fly that's attributed just to their mobile device. And so, that gives us information about scans, it gives us information about redemptions, but when the consumer goes and redeems it, it's terminated for their smartphone. And so they can't reuse it. It's very different, again, from a coupon that can be reused multiple times. And so that's how I think, that's one tool. We have another tool called dynamic vouchers, which actually allows the allows the business to actually change the offer based on a time schedule. And so when the consumer's looking at it, it might decrease in value by the minute, by the second, by the hour. And so this tool is used to really drive consumer behavior to buy now or make a purchase now by giving the consumer maximum value up front, and then as they delay, they lose value. And so these combination of tools that really work within the context of a digital wallet create some new, again, this is the lens I'm looking through, is our platform and our product, and how can we increase value. And these are some of the features that I see being really valuable in the future that measure engagement and provide value in different ways to consumers.
That's almost like an interactive, real-time coupons, right?
Right.
That's interesting technology.
Yeah.
Wow, looking forward for more of those innovations, which can help definitely can support the demand gen and marketing side.
Yep.
And from my perspective, at least working with so many different enterprise clients and looking at talking to the CMOs and VPs and stuff, I think marketing ops is at a stage where it's ready to emerge from the shadows in coming years. Previously, I think all the marketing team as well as the companies would see ops as a cost center. Now, I think they're started to look at ops as a strategic investment, right? Because ops enables the entire team, not just marketing, sales side, customer side, right? Like we were talking about. And any of the investment which is done in the ops side, it's going to support entire organization, right? And the second thing is, marketing ops is one team which is bringing out the insights about marketing initiatives, right? And the messaging, awareness, all the programs, campaigns which are being done by marketing team. What is the impact of it, right? Where do we see that moving towards? So the insights, the data, right? Setting up the process. All this stuff is done by marketing ops team. So any investment in that really is going to pay off in the long run, right? Sometimes like in the enterprise side of it, the sales cycle is almost like 3 quarters to sometimes more than a year. At that time, the investment you put today is going to realize maybe a year later, right? So in that way, like you need to look at the investment in ops as strategic. And also the ops team has the ability to stitch that insights from the data to back into the business initiatives, right? So that's where I think even Serious Decision and a couple of the other Gartner, and they're looking at, like you said, COO to CMO, right? So the ops, I think the professionals or ops leaders are more suited to lead the marketing organization and maybe one day even lead the company itself, right? Because the amount of the impact they have across multiple departments.
They're involved in everything.
Yeah, they're involved in everything, right?
And the big picture across
looking at the big
company.
picture, where things are moving, right? And having that technology bent like mindset and also the data insights, as well as how to stitch all the processes together and bring the sales team from Mars back to Earth, marketing from Venus back to Earth, right? Where we can all stay together and as a cohesive team, right? No more divisions. Like all the our customers and prospects, they are so well interconnected digitally. even the company itself inside all these departments need to be interconnected.
Yeah.
They need to know what one team is doing with others.
Absolutely.
And I think ops is the one which is a glue which sticks all them, stitches all of them together, right?
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel that ops has a bright future in coming
yes.
years, especially like, and also like I said, usually when I said initially, like, it's like the nervous system and everything which you can't see. Now I think it needs to be revealed, right? The ops leaders will take a place in the conversation with executive team, right?
Definitely.
And definitely
That's
lead that.
happening, I think right now, and even continuing to grow, is because we are the ones looking at that data of
Yeah.
what tools are, what's the ROI, what's the ROI of the different sources, where is the impact, not just on the funnel, but across the different teams of the company. And so, yeah, I mean, I definitely already see marketing ops being brought into those big conversations because we can see the big picture and how everything is impacted.
It's also interesting how marketing systems need to integrate. I mean, they have to share the data between vendor A and vendor B, and we're living that every day as we have to integrate with another product, like a hotel reservation system or a point of sale system, or so it really is the nerve center for the organization as it's bringing in revenue and measuring so many different aspects of performance for the company. So so just great point.
Yep. So anything else, Brianna, from like you are leading the entire demand gen team and ops team.
Yes.
So how does it look like the next year, right? How are you leading from an ops perspective?
Yes, I would say over the next year, we really spent this year setting up, making sure we had those processes in place and the definitions, and making sure we were very clear on what data sources we were using to measure. So I think this year is going to be looking a lot at that ROI and what's having the actual impact and influence across the company. And then for the following year, taking that data and better influencing our marketing strategy. It's I'm very much an advocate that I don't make decisions just based off of my feelings when it comes to marketing and work. I'm making it based off of that data and making proper decisions that way. So
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Especially right now, this situation, we are in economic situation, right? If you're just looking maybe like 12 months in perspective, I think ops is in a good position to bring out that insights, like what worked, which initiative worked, so that the leadership team can make a decision about the budget, right? Because with the economic slowdown and all the stuff people are talking about, each team is trying to almost like tighten their budget now, right? They want to cut places where it's not impacting. I think only one organization or one team which can really provide that insights, like you said, it's the data. Data speaks, right? So it's a black and white. There's no emotions attached to it.
it either works or it doesn't. And
Yes,
we can
yes.
show it.
And I think ops is one place where definitely leaders will look into, saying that, hey, which campaigns worked, which initiative works for us, right? So that we can only keep those ones for the next year, and then we can reevaluate after that, right? So in that way, I think ops team is definitely playing a big role right now as we are speaking, because even had a couple of conversations last week about a couple of my clients, are like the marketing leaders, is like, Prash, we need to figure out where we can reduce the budget.
Yeah, so we can show, marketing ops can show what's working,
What's
what
working,
tools we really need, which ones are going to have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
Drive those quality leads, not just quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So.
I think you touched upon about revenue leaders, right? I think in a way, whether ops would like to be like that role or want to play that role, but definitely I think ops is being pulled into that direction, where ops can be the revenue, if not the leaders, at least the ones who provides insights to make that revenue decisions at the top.
Yeah. I think we could certainly talk for hours here. I'm not sure if we should open it for questions. I think we've got a few minutes.
I do have a question. So, Brianna, very few people, marketers I speak to, can speak about their MarTech stack with the clarity that you offered.
Thank you.
Typically, I run into folks who describe it more like a Jenga tower that's on the verge of collapse. So they've bought it piecemeal. They run into a problem or a need. they buy a technology, it doesn't get onboarded very well, or the users aren't using it. One company I talked to had to do a financial audit to figure out what they were paying for. Okay.
Yes.
What advice would you offer that type of company? And they tend to be small to mid-size.
Yeah, so I would definitely take a look at getting a quick outline of all the different tools that you were using. I know I've been at my current company for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. So that was one of the first things I did when I came in. What are the different tools we're using? And then I synced across the different departments to see who was actually using these tools. And I would make that a regular thing. Because there's no reason you need to be wasting your time on a tool that isn't being used. So that would be my first step, would definitely be what tools do we have, and then going through who should be using them, and are they being used. And then at that point, I'm gonna start defining my, what I would see as success for each of those tools. So such as we use HubSpot, and a current challenge is that we have email templates marketing creates for the sales team, and I think they're fantastic. And but they don't use them a lot. So I'm on usually about quarterly or monthly, depends basis, looking to see how often is that being used, and then if it's not, going out to my sales team and being like, why aren't you using it? Are you just not comfortable using it? Do you not like our messaging? That's okay. We can change it. No offense taken. So I think making it part of your regular process is the biggest thing. Otherwise, you end up having these tools that no one even knew about and no one's using.
That's a great answer.
Hope that answers your question.
Hello. I'd like to ask about pushback. What happens when the output from the MarTech team garners concern from the CEO? He or she doesn't like it, and pushes it back to you. What's the process? What do you do in that case?
My advice would be, I always look at the data. Recently got a pushback actually from, it was someone's like, we do not like this. Oh, it was emojis in our email subject lines. And we don't use like crazy emojis. We are healthcare B2B, but it was like a calendar. And they're like, nobody likes that. Everyone's offended by that. And I was like, I don't believe that, but I could be wrong. So I look at the data. And I came back and I was like, no, actually our emails that have emojis in them have a greater open rate and click-through rate. So I push back that way. I say, let me look at the data and let me see what it does. So that makes it even more important that we are we have the data and we are looking at it regularly. Because if it's not working, I don't take offense to it. Okay, maybe it doesn't. But that would be my biggest thing. Prove it with data, because it's very hard to argue with that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, Brianna, because data is black and white. It doesn't take sides, right? But at the same time, it's like, is the data meaningful, insightful, right? You can have, it's like garbage in, garbage out. I've seen many companies accumulate a gazillion amount of data, right? And there's no actionable data. So I think that's where the ops comes in. It's not only we are just hoarding data, it's like, how do we make use of this data for an actionable insight? Like you said, right? It's always data demoralized, looking at the emojis, and in those emails, like you said, open rate, engagement, click rate, right? Within those emails is a perfect, I think, scenario to go back and say, hey, look, this works. Like A/B testing, right? We do all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and I think being open to that, not getting defensive, and when you're having those kind of conversations, and we have the sales team comes up a lot and they want to go to a specific trade show and they're determined that's the one that's going to just drive the pipeline like nobody's business. But I go back and I look and I'm like, we attended that trade show for 2 years in a row. We got a lot of leads, but the quality was just not good. So having those conversations, but listening to them as well and saying maybe there's a different show, maybe there's a different one that will help you get your commission up.
Perfect. Any other questions? Perfect. I think, thank you everyone
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
coming, and thanks,
Yes.
Likewise.
John and Brianna. It
Thank
was
you
a
both.
wonderful session.
Yes.
We can go on for hours.
Yes, if anyone
But,
wants to talk
yeah.
more, we gladly will.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.